Okay, and welcome to Marty's Electro Rails. I hope you liked the intro. I thought because it's this time of year, Halloween, I would try and put a video out with a Halloween theme. Now, as you saw, there was some lightning effects and some audio in that whole sequence. The plan is to put that and install it into the board. So I'll give you a little explanation of what started me down that route. Years ago, when the original layout was built, there was a graveyard scene that my dad had put in place, and then one day my son decided that he wanted to put some zombies in the graveyard, so he painted up some of the little figures that we had, and then I thought, well, why don't we light them up? So we put some green LEDs under the board and lit them up green, just for an extra effect. Taking that to the next level now, where I want to have on a button press, starts a sequence, and it just creates a little animation of like a devil-like figure, and the zombies light up with some lightning effects as well. So what I've done is created this little circuit, and it's run by an Arduino. So I'll explain this. This is a little switch, which is there's a pull-up resistor going into pin 8. So when the switch is pushed down, it goes to ground, which then starts and triggers the sequence. What we also have here is the DFplayer. These are little units. I'll show you one if I can find it. Yep. Take a 32 gig card, and they will act as a basic MP3 player. You can use these standalone. There are trigger points, trigger pins to move up and down the tracks. Record an MP3 or a number of MP3s onto the little card, and you can just use it as a very small basic MP3 player. On this side, you have the option of speaker out, but it's not very powerful. So you can only run like a 2-watt speaker on it. But you also have headphone out, which are these two here, so in left and right, and you also need to connect the ground on it. So I have opted on this not to use a little speaker, because this was the one I was using in the video. It is very quiet and it's not obviously very good quality. And the idea, if I can find, the idea is this sits inside the actual church. Also, just so that it's hidden away. But what I've done is I've upped that to, give me a second. So this is the church in question. It's a Hornby model, and the speaker will just sit inside. This is obviously a bigger speaker, and I have added an amplifier to it. This sounds a lot better, and you can just obviously control the volume on that. So we'll use that for another project, and we're going to use this with the amplifier and the DF player. On this circuit as well, the receive on the DF player, it's only like a 3.2 volts it runs on, so the Arduino will output 5 volts. So I've just basically created a voltage divider to bring that down to roughly about 3 volts. The TX coming back, that doesn't matter, but it's on the actual transmit itself. On this side, further down, we have on pin 10, we have a 100 ohm resistor with 2 green LEDs in serial. We have the red LED, which is lighting up the devil figure. That's 220 ohm resistor, and we have 4 white LEDs on pin 5 to pin 2. They're all on 100 ohm resistors. On the white LEDs, it doesn't matter if it's not a output that has pulse width modulation, but on the red and green LEDs, I have made sure that these are on pulse width modulation pins. This will become relevant soon, or if you've seen the video, you'll see that the fact that the red LED fades in and the green LEDs fade in. So the next thing was I have all these little figures. Now these are just cheap little painted figures that I got off Amazon. The painting on them, it's not very good, but at least it's a start instead of actually buying figures that are not painted. I really don't have the patience to do that, so that's why I bought cheap little ones. And on one of the figures there, the whole figure was painted red, which gave me the idea, I could possibly make that into a devil-like figure. So we also have this is gazebo. Well, it's actually it's a latch gate from Hornby for kind of graveyard, but I've kind of used it as a gazebo in the graveyard. So I've decided that we put a little devil in there, and we have two sets of LEDs. We've got some white LEDs in the roof hidden away, and we have a red LED on the base. The other thing that I've done just to create another effect, so you can't really see the LED at the base, it has just a little bit of fabric in the base of that. I will stick, once it's all in place and working, I will do that once it's on the board. And this it also acts as a diffuser for the LED. So okay, that is where I got the idea of the devil. That's pretty much already painted. So I also have these will be going into a little circuit board that I've created. I will now actually move, well, I'll show you the rest of the stuff actually. I also have from, I'm not sure where these are from, whether they're from Hornby, are the trees. Now I do apologise, these are already made up. Reason being, I've had lots of issues with recording recently. Not enough time to record, and also the recordings that I have done, a lot of them have had some issues. That's down to my old computer, so until I get that sorted, I am recording this video on a lower resolution, just hopefully, fingers crossed, and hopefully this will work. Also, I have got a second camera recording this, and just in case. So what I've done here is to run each of the white LEDs into the tree, hiding the cables, also making sure that the cables are black, so that you try not so you can't really see them. Then I've put a bit of heat shrink onto the trunk of the tree and run the two cables down into a little DuPont connector. Originally I had a male DuPont connector, but you'll see in a second I swapped them all over for a female socket. So yeah, it's just basically trying to keep the trees hidden. Could have, another thing I probably could have done was if I could find dark green cable to kind of hide that away, but I've not finished with the hiding of the cable. It's not until they actually fitted onto the board. So the three trees, that's your LEDs, your white LEDs here, including the one that's in the gazebo. So take them to the side. They're very messy as well, so I'll just get rid of all that rubbish. So just thinking, what's the next thing? The next thing is the actual circuit. Now I haven't had time to make up this whole circuit on stripboard. I've designed this little circuit. Just obviously makes things a lot easier. We have header pins that are, this is the input side and this is the output side. These pins all control the LEDs, and this is basically the output from the pins from the Arduino, and very importantly including a ground cable as well. So if I bring this back in, I have another one just to show the amp as well. So this was 2 versions of this. This is the little amp that I have, and that's just purely with the 8 ohm speaker. I think I've kind of covered that. So, sorry, every now and then I'm just checking out to make sure this is still recording. As I said, I've had some issues with that. So I've tried to make this as neat as possible. We've got the DFplayer there. I've got a little amp here. We have a little push switch which will trigger on pin 8, and it will trigger the whole sequence. And this circuit, as I've said before, I actually designed this on VCAD, which is a nice little program. You can make up your own components. It will do an actual continuity test to make sure that you've actually you've not got any components crossing each other's connections or anything like that, or any shorts on the board. So I have this is the front one. Now, while I was soldering it together, I realised that I had missed some points here and here. So there was a bit of trial and error. As I said, this is all the pins coming in from the Arduino, and this is the layout of the LEDs. First 2 LEDs are the green ones, then the next one's the red, and these are the white LEDs. So the wonderful thing about VCAD is when you go to print off your circuit, it gives you the back of the circuit. So when you're originally going through and cutting some of the tracks, you can just have a look. Basically X marks the spot where I wanted the tracks done, and I've just went through and I have taken the continuity away from the tracks. To do that, I have, there's just a little drill. You can cut the tracks between the holes, but I actually prefer if you put a drill in there, and you can just gently turn the drill, and it will take away the metal strip on the actual tracks. Always, once you've done that, always check it for continuity to make sure that the track is completely broken. Otherwise you might have problems later on trying to figure out where the issues are coming from. So this is the basic circuit, and what I'll do just now is I will attach everything together on here, and we'll get it up and running. I've not talked about the programming of this. That was trial and error as well. The DF player mini, there's a number of different libraries on the Arduino program itself, which are supplied. I'm trying to remember which one I used. I will maybe find that out in a minute. But yeah, the actual program in itself, I could not get it. I could get it to play the track, but I couldn't get it to run the sequence of LEDs until the track had finished. Admittedly, which I'm not proud of myself, I went on to ChatGPT and asked it to write a basic program for a DF player, and to basically run one track, and while it's running one track, flash LEDs off and on. So once that had done that, I copied and pasted it and changed the program to suit all the different timings of the lights coming on and coming off. Not proud of using AI, but it is a handy tool when you need it. But we will not talk about AI. I have issues with it. But yes, anyway. Right. So we'll wire this up. Oh, one thing I didn't say was this is going to have a separate 5-volt power supply going into it. So I've got 5 volts coming from my little power supply underneath the bench. Oh, that's not good. And we have, I'll check with the other one. Right, so negative and positive. I have put header pins on this. It actually comes in the pack without header pins. So you have, on this little amplifier, you have 2 speaker outs, which is 4 pins. It will do left and right if you want to create a stereo effect. The middle 2 pins are power, and the first 3 pins are your signal in, which is basically left, ground and right. So in this should work. And put that into the positive one and this into the negative. So we've got power, as you can hear the speaker come on. I should have switched that off. And let's try this time. I'll reset the Arduino. That's another thing I want to put on, is have a reset pin or reset button. Just if I need to, when this gets properly built, it will probably be hidden underneath the board. So let's try this. And now it's still not working. Just checking that this is not. Do you know, this might be okay. There we go. So I've got volume control, and we have hopefully all the lights working. Got the little red man lighting up, and then we have some zombies coming in. Oh, they're not working. I need to look at that connection. We have all of the white lights. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have the zombie light on. Now there must be some issue with the green light, but I think it's just an actual loose connection on this. I will double check the connection to make sure the voltages are okay. We have to run through. The good thing is I can just switch the speaker off. I don't have to constantly listen to Cat and D minor over and over again. Incidentally, the audio track is made up of samples that I've been able to get from various different places. It's all free kind of samples of the internet. Some of them made myself as well, but so I just need to check that there's a voltage coming out of that when I start the sequence up again. Just see if we get to the zombie part. I might have to keep listening to this. It's driving me nuts. So I've been recording this video for the last 4 weeks, and right, so that's 5 volts out there. So let's just check the continuity. I'm guessing it's these two connectors that are not great. Enough of that. The other thing I need to do is, at the end of the sequence, I want the LEDs just switch off at the end. I'll need to reprogram that so that they fade out. As I said, the red LED and the 2 green LEDs are controlled with pulse width modulation, which I've done a little video on, just to show you the difference of how that works. So instead of me putting the video in this, you could have a wee look at that video if you want to learn a wee bit about pulse width modulation. Also, there's hundreds of videos on YouTube that go into better detail. I just wanted to show what effect you could get from it with that little video. Anyhow, so I'm just going to use a wee bit of continuity check on these middle 2 pins. Yep, there's nothing on the other ones, so it's just the middle 2. The middle 2 are connected together so that they run in series. I can run the LEDs in parallel, which I'm now actually thinking is maybe a bad idea. I'll have a little look and see. I might have to change that resistor just to get a better output for it. Well, just give the LEDs a wee bit more voltage because they seem to be struggling. Well, this is very exciting. See if we've got to. Yep, should be. Yeah, I've definitely got some loose connections here, so I'll maybe have to redo these connectors. Right, okay, I will redo these and I will get back to you guys. Okay, problem resolved. I had to resolder some of the joints on the back of the strip board. I also replaced the 100 ohm resistor on the green LEDs for a 10 ohm resistor, forgetting that each LED requires roughly about 2 volts each. So that seems to have solved the problem. So this was just me feeding the wires through the board. Obviously large holes drilled in the board. It's now looking more like a bit of cheese. And the next part is my temporary setup underneath just an old dining room chair, and just to wire this up to test that it's all working. In the future I will be, as I've already said, the circuit on the breadboard I will make it up using strip board so it's a permanent feature, and then mounting it underneath the board. One thing I forgot to mention is that the little button, the push button, I have just made up a little circuit for the push button to run up to the controls. So here is the full effect. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and all that needs to be said is Happy Halloween. Thanks very much.